Hi and welcome to a brand new Riders Lounge podcast. I'm your host for the show, Steve Sommerfeld, and yeah, we're finally back. I've just got back from Johannesburg, South Africa, where I was down there hosting the 5th King of the Whip competition. It was huge. It was at Montecasino again. I was there last year, which completely blew me away, and I went back again this year, and man, everybody stepped it up. We had more international riders. There was just way more riding, way more whips. It was huge. The crowd was bigger. Everything was awesome. And this podcast, we're talking all about King of the Whip. But actually, I was on the Two Wheels to Freedom podcast with Clint Esposito. And technically, I guess that was a YouTube. I think it was live. I don't know. I guess this whole clip or this whole podcast today is actually taken from Clint's, where we were live talking all about King of the Whip. Now, before we get into it, I just wanted to do a bit of a quick shout out. The new Rothouse Advent calendar has been delivered. Now, I'm 12 days late. I just started opening it up now. After 12 days, I've managed to pick up a few of the original Rothouse Tenon Zepflers. There was a couple of my favorites, the iced Zepflers, and some new glasses that I'd never seen before as well. So I've got 12 more days. So if you guys want to grab one of those, jump onto rothouse.de and grab yourself the Advent calendar. It's the best one you can ever get because it's full of beer. Man, how good is that? Also, tickets are out now for the new Night of the Jump season, 2024. There are 6 dates released so far. There are more, but 6 have been released just before Christmas. So jump on to nightofthejumps.com. If you are in Europe, make sure to grab your tickets because we've got a whole new season coming. New riders, new shows, new everything. It's going to be freaking awesome. And actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, wherever you are in the world, find out whatever shows come into your closest town, city, village, wherever you are. Just go and find it. Jump onto Riders Lounge podcast on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever. Maybe I've got some dates up there. Maybe I've shared somebody else's dates. Just try and find it. Try and find any FMX and go find some live shows. Go see the action for yourselves. You won't regret it no matter where you are in the world. Now, this chat that we're about to have with Clint Esposito, he's actually doing his own show. So if you're in America, anywhere in America, hell, if you're anywhere in the world, make sure to get over there to Cedar Grove track. It is on 4/20, April the 20th. He will be hosting the Two Wheels to Freedom Fest. And we talk about this throughout this podcast, actually, towards the end, about the amateur contests in the past. And Clint is bringing it all back. And this time, there's FMX, motos, Harleys. I mean, he's jumping a Harley. But there's also Harley rides, everything. Anything and everything. So, man, that's awesome to see. He did tell me about that before. And I may sound surprised about that in this podcast, but yeah, I've got a really bad memory and I kind of forgot. Sorry about that, bud. So what can you expect in this? We're talking all about King of the Whip. Everybody blew me away. There was 26 riders. Everybody stepped it up. But then, of course, as things go, we kind of drifted off into Tech 7s, 8s, or 10s. What's your preference? I had a pair of Tech 10s that I wore only a few times, and we talk about that a bit more. Protective gear in general, and how mountain bike riders may be the best freestyle motocross riders because they've got to jump like things like Red Bull Rampage, and they don't have a throttle. So imagine when those guys come over to moto. Clearly, I'm talking about Andre Laconda guy with that. So that is a quick summary. That's what we're about to talk about. So sit down, grab yourself a nice cold Rothouse Tenon Zepfler, alcohol-free, and enjoy this latest Riders Lounge podcast.
Hey, everybody. Clint Esposito here with Steve Sommerfeld. This time, we just finished recording one, but we're recording another companion, this time for your viewing pleasure. It is the behind the scenes footage from King of the Whip.
Oh yeah, and I like that you say we just finished filming. You were mid-sentence on the last video, and then you just went straight into this intro. That was impressive, man.
I'm on it today. I had mushroom coffee. I'm ready. I'm trying to prove to the world that I can come and announce your event alongside with Steve.
Hell yeah.
Or just from the internet from my house, however it works.
Just man, come down. So next year, King of the Whip, Johannesburg, South Africa. We're all going to stay for like 2 or 3 weeks. I was already there for 2 weeks this time. Everybody else was pissed that they went home on like the Monday. So I
After
was
the
just
event?
chilling after the event.
And
So
you stayed your time after the event or before?
I did 1 week before,
Okay.
then the event, and then 1 week after. And I mean, we did a little safari, but it was like a little baby safari near Johannesburg. But next year, we're going to head to Kruger National Park. We're going to go, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 days, proper safari driving, like just see what you see.
Real
Maybe we see
safari.
nothing. Yeah.
I've
So
gone on safaris in the US, but it's like
is
a
that different?
fucking
Is that a,
yeah, because we're just like imported all these animals so we could
oh,
drive by
yeah.
and look at them. Those things live there. That's the real deal.
Yeah,
Like all
exactly.
these other things are emulating what you just did.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Exactly.
know?
Like, and even what I did was kind of like emulating it because it was I think it was actually a rescue park.
Mm.
So there were lions and elephants and all that sort of stuff, giraffes,
But they
but
weren't
they were
being like
rescued
they were caged.
inside
You
fences.
were
Not,
inside, yeah, like at like thousands of acre
yeah, exactly.
area, fenced
Exactly.
area. Sorry,
So,
not cages.
so next year, you're gonna have to fly yourself down, and we're gonna just go holidaying, man. So 2 announcers next year. Ryan, we're calling it.
That's
Two
right.
announcers.
And we're gonna film the safari. We'll even shoot all your behind the scenes of the safari and everything, edit it together.
Hell yeah, it's on. Hang on,
How was it?
what are we doing with this? What are we doing with this companion here?
We're gonna watch
It's
the.
not even a companion because it's not even on the internet. So this is just us watching something.
It is a companion. I mean, sure, we're watching events and commenting on it. We're getting rid of the original people's sound and just talking nonsense over top of it.
So have you got the videos playing in the background?
No, I've got it ready
Ah,
to go. So if you
okay.
wanted to have the behind the scenes video ready as well, and then we could watch it. I have the longer one pulled up, which is like 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
Is that the Super Sport King of the Whip highlight cut?
Nope. It's
Oh,
VNRKOTW V2.
oh yeah. Okay.
So
Oh
we're
yeah,
gonna
there
get a
is a
little bit
longer.
of commentary. Who is this
Yeah.
gentleman in the video?
So this is Ryan van der Spa. I can only say his name when I try my worst South African accent. It's a little bit difficult to say his name. But no, so Ryan is the man who has put this event on for, I think this is the 5th year. The first 3 were at a quarry, and I saw where it was. The quarry is in like a residential area next to a motorbike shop in Johannesburg. So they did it there for 3 years. And then last year was the first time that they took it to Montecasino, this massive casino complex in the middle of Joburg. And it's freaking awesome.
Awesome.
So,
Alright,
yeah.
fix your head again.
How do you want to play this one? Shall we just hit start? I mean, he's going to talk for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, he does, because I
You,
kind of skimmed through it before.
do you want to keep that in, or we're just going to talk over the top and
No, we'll
then
let him
when...
explain his deal, and
Okay.
then just once we get to the riding footage, then we can comment on it again.
Very good. All right. Count
All
us
right.
in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So, King of the Whip takes top motocross riders and freestyle motocross riders from around South Africa and Africa and puts them together to see who can throw the biggest whip. We're in the 5th year of this event, and it's just growing from strength to strength. This year we've got 26 riders in total, top South African riders from all over the country, one from Zimbabwe as well, and then 3 international riders, one from Belgium and 2 from Spain. And obviously it's really exciting for us to have those guys here and competing against the likes of the African riders and see how we can compete with them. So the riders will be competing in the whip competition today, which is throwing the bike as much sideways and backwards as they can, as well as best trick competitions, right side up and upside down. The right side up is the freestyle guys doing tricks for the bike is the right side up, and the upside down is when they do backflip combinations and combos. If you look at where we started King of the Whip, it was in a small quarry in the middle of the suburbs of Joburg. And it just started gaining more interest. We started with maybe 500 to 1,000 spectators, and now we're at a sold-out venue like Montecasino with 6,000 spectators, so it's just grown from strength to strength. And I think it's also grown into probably one of the biggest motorsports events in South Africa now. At the same time, it's also, you can see how the riders have progressed over the years. There's more younger kids riding and coming into it. We've got a 13-year-old competing this year, which is amazing. And the oldest rider is 43-year-old. So, you've got quite a scale of age and skill levels within the event. The riders are competing for 200,000 Rand in cash, which you don't normally see in this country. And that comes from the support of our partners. Without them, this wouldn't be possible, but at the same time they share the vision of what to do and they see the value in what to do. So a big shout out goes out to Ford, Monster Energy, Yamaha, Garmin, Motul, GoPro and Estrella.
All right.
There we go. So that's the man.
I'm amazed where these riders come from, because I didn't even know there were guys riding in a lot of these places.
So South Africa has so many good motocross races. So that's the majority.
Greg
of the
Albertine.
guys that were there. Exactly. Grant Langston.
Is Langston also from South Africa?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch from South Africa. He did say Zimbabwe, but whoa, that was loud. That hit my ears. I think he might even be from Uganda. There's one rider, Stav Orland. So he's from Uganda. And then, of course, Mark Pignol came down, Edgar Torrentares, and the reigning king of the whip, Julian Van Stippen.
Awesome. So do we want to say who won?
Oh, wow. I just realized I put my volume up a little bit. I can hear myself talking. So I didn't know that I was in this. I thought it was I didn't think they had the audio of me. I thought there was music or something. So this is Trent Valsecki. This is the 13-year-old kid on a KTM 85. That appears to be maybe Eon from Jungle Rush. So there is the freestyle teams down there.
Yeah.
Jungle Rush is the main team. And then, a whole bunch of, there's the green team. I think those guys are from Durban. Jesse Wright there, and Edgar Torrentares, Jacques, Brendan, and I forget the name of the other judge. Oh, God, I'm terrible. Anyway. No, so Jacques was injured. He couldn't do it. Brendan is also kind of injured. Half retired, half injured. But he may come back, Brendan Potter. He was one of the OGs.
Okay.
With Nick DeWitt. I don't know if you remember the name Nick DeWitt.
I do.
So Brendan and Nick were the two first guys to do freestyle there down in South Africa. And there's old Edgar.
Yeah. Still throwing it down.
We can go through the results at the end, but you can assume he's going to at least make it to the final with a whip like that.
Yeah.
Ricky Raff, Edgar again. Edgar's going to be all through this video, I am sure, because he was killing it.
Yeah.
The crowd loved him. But yeah, so the locals, man, I saw it last year and I was completely blown away. This year, everybody stepped it up.
Awesome.
Last year, I don't think anybody really knew how big they were going to go. They were just swinging. This guy here, Dalton Venter.
You.
Last year, he hit a ramp for the first time 2 days before the event.
Oh, wow.
and I don't even think he rode again until like just before this event again.
Yeah.
So those guys have done a full race season. That's Julian Van Stippen there. So yeah, like they just finished the race season, and then King of the Whip was on. So basically, Ryan can't even choose the date for next year's event until
They
all of the
figure
motocross
out,
dates are,
yeah.
yeah, until they're all set. So we don't know when we're on next year. Oh yeah, that was Edgar Torrentera's Saran wrap to Supercan Indy to no hand lander.
It's too much. Marcus Pignol,
Mark
Marco.
Pignol with the Cali roll.
Ooh.
And check this out. I don't know if it's in there. Oh no, they didn't show it. I genuinely had goosebumps because he was not feeling it. It was really windy. The ramp was a little bit shorter than normal. It was like 20 centimeters too short. So he's like,
Okay.
he didn't get that pop that he wanted, and he still threw it. But there's Stav Orland. So that's the guy from Uganda.
On the KTM.
Yeah.
Holy
And
shit.
Julian there going big. That's Dallin Goldman.
Yeah, that was good.
Jesse Wright, man. Jesse was on fire. Dalton. So they both ride in the same team.
Yeah.
There's Stav again. And Matty Van Garland. So that guy there that you just saw, he came from like down in Cape Town. Like they drove 17 hours to get there. Him and his buddy Pringles, because last year his front wheel looked like Pringles.
Uh-huh.
It was rooted. Anyway, this year in the practice day, Pringles came up short. He did Larry Loop out, threw the bike away, and destroyed his legs. So Matty had to drive home, I guess,
Oh, no.
on his own. Just realized how hairy my arms are in that clip as I pass the microphone to Dallin. Maybe there's some interviews. Edgar Torrentera's.
Well, it's amazing to be here in South Africa for my first time. To be with this amazing crowd. I'm coming. Yes, I did a lot of shows in my life because it is 30 years riding freestyle. I'm the first freestyler in the world. And it's a pleasure to be here because in my leagues I miss South Africa, and now I get in my legs, and I wait to back again next year.
Man, the crowd loved him. Oh.
Good, you're amazing. I will never forget you. Thank you so much.
So that's Mark Pignol there, who had a really good night with that Cali roll. He took the win.
And then they destroyed their tires.
So, yep, Mark Pignol, Dallin Goldman, and Edgar on the best trick upright.
Okay. And then this is the whip.
Yep, so this is the whip. Julian, Edgar, and Dallin.
Actually, I love this country. I have so much good experience from last year and this year again, so it's a pleasure to be here. The crowd was insane. All the riders are so good with me, so I'm just enjoying my time here.
What's it like defending your title? Is it more difficult coming back after you won, or was it first one easier?
I think I was ready for it. I've been working on my whips during the year, so I just enjoy it. And when I enjoy riding, I throw down some good whips. So yeah, that's just what happened.
How do you handle the nose with the wind and all of the things changing?
Everything is in my head. Everything. It's a lot of preparation, and yeah, it's 90% mental.
And how do you prepare yourself?
I can say that. It's a secret. No, it's a lot of preparation, like visualization and stuff, and a lot of practicing on the bike too.
There you go.
There you go. So, yeah, man, it was an awesome event. It's one of the cooler events, I think, in the year. a whip comp. Like,
Yeah.
again, we spoke about it last year where I was like, man, a whole show just dedicated to whips, like that. Ooh, that's going to be a long show, I think. The crowd loved it from start to finish. The only issue they had this year was they were in the middle of a heat wave. It was so hot. They had all the scaffolding up, like for the grandstands. Man, there would have been a lot of roasted and crispy buttholes there sitting on those.
How hot?
Oh, like I think it was about 38 degrees, which would be getting close to about nearly 100, I guess,
I was
over
gonna say.
there, Fahrenheit.
Let's do the
I don't know.
conversion.
My maths isn't good, but yeah, it was pretty warm. I personally did not care how hot it was because I was getting notifications saying at home in Germany, it was like snow flurries, black ice on the roads, be careful. I'm like, I do not care how hot it is
Yeah.
here in South Africa. This is freaking awesome. But yeah, it was a really hot day. So yeah, there was a couple little things like in the end, unfortunately, the wind reared its head. They had some really gnarly thunderstorms. Actually, it was leading up to it. It looked like there was going to be big thunderstorms. On the
38
day,
is 100.
it is 100. There
Yeah.
you go. It was 100. Man, my maths is good today. I don't give myself credit.
So you got a little bit, did it cool it off or just made it, was it humid? Is it humid there or is it dry?
It for me it was actually kind of okay. Like I can kind of handle it. Like in Brisbane in Australia, it's pretty humid.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Joburg wasn't as bad as what I'm used to.
Right.
Like a little bit more, I don't know.
Yeah, drier.
Yeah, a little bit drier. I don't know if, to be honest, I didn't care. I was enjoying it, whereas everybody else was like, no way, this is way too hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in California doing a show and it was like 85, but it was dry. And some guys are like gonna melt, and I'm like, bro, I could shovel all day right now.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I can handle this. That's not a
Yeah,
problem.
because I lived in Georgia at the time where it's like 98% humidity, so you're just like wet all day.
Yeah, you walk around in a personal cloud.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna commit to being wet as soon as I walk out my front door until I get home later.
That's it. When I come home, I'm gonna have another shower, and then I might have another shower, and
Exactly.
let's see, maybe there's another one to go. No, so I'm just having a look. Yeah, so for the results, for the best trick comp, this was the upright competition. That's where Mark won. Mark Pignol with a Cali roll. Dallin Goldman got second with like a one-handed. It was like I'd call it a one-handed airplane. It looked awesome. Like
Awesome.
he went flatliner style, indied it out, one hand. It looked gnarly. Like it looked actually really technical.
Flip lever?
I don't know how. With a flip lever, yeah. But when the bike was like pancaked, I don't know how you would get back on.
Yeah.
Indied and one-handed at the same time. Like it was big. And then Edgar got third with the Saran wrap to super can no hand lander. Unfortunately,
super can.
the wind the wind put out the backflip comp. So Mark was lucky that because his bike was upright, they counted the California roll in that competition. So it wasn't a backflip, so the backflip comp was for backflips, and it just didn't happen. Yeah, so too much wind. The whip comp was gnarly. Everybody loved it. Maybe the hardcore fans who were there waiting for like a ruler flip or two, or I don't know what else could have been done. Maybe they would have been a bit upset, but it just had to be called on safety.
I think if you're hardcore enough of a fan, then you should be able to gather that wind is not really good for these guys trying to do this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And for the whip competition, so in seventh place, so there was like a top seven that went through to the final. Um, Matty Van Galen, again, that was the guy who had to drive home on his own because his
Mm,
buddy was laid up in hospital with a really badly broken leg. So he's in a fixator, and I think he's got to get another surgery or
ugh.
two. Poor old
And
Keenan
he
Bowman.
couldn't transport, obviously.
No, well, we were trying to get him there. Like we were hoping they'd let him out of hospital. So he had the first operation the day before or 2 days before. It's like, oh, just even if he can come and watch the show. And unfortunately, he had to just chill on
Probably because
painkillers.
the external fixator, and you don't want to get that
Yeah,
infected.
yeah. We were. I
We're
mean,
gonna take
everybody
him
was
to a
just hope.
dirt field.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
exactly. Well, we were all kind of hoping it was going to be like plate and screws
Right.
and everything was fine.
At
But
least covered.
yeah, at least covered. But they had him in the fixator, so it sucks because so Keenan Bowman, he turned up and like he's one of the funniest guys. Like when he's around, like it's just a laugh. And whether he started it or whether maybe I don't think I started. I think it could have been somebody else. Um, he had a little CRF, maybe 110 or something there, little pit bike. And we're like, man, massive dirt landing. It was like a 4 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters. So about 15-foot safety deck on
Yeah.
top. We're like, man, you just come up the back. Like you can pull a pit bike flip in the middle of the show. Like, do
Uh,
your 450 whipping and then put it down and just come in whole ass and pull a flip. So this is like 3 or 4 days before the event. And then he's like, fuck, maybe this is going to happen. Duran even built the takeoff in the back.
yep.
And I don't know if he was thinking too much about pulling back on the pit bike, but yeah, when he went for his first jump at Jungle Rush at Terratopia, um, yeah, he just fucked up. It was just a mistake. He came like 1 meter short.
Mm,
To be honest, I thought he was going to be like 4 meters short, which is like 15 feet.
yeah.
Like he really came in quite slow because it was, I don't know, it's a low landing. It's a different ramp to what he's used to. Yeah, he just made a bit of a mistake, and in the end, he just did Larry loop out, threw the bike away, and then
Uh,
like pinned. So he kind of landed on the safety deck, both feet straight or both legs straight. So it just destroyed him.
on a metal landing or
No, no,
dirt?
no, on the dirt
Oh,
landing. Yeah,
there
so
at
it's
this
like a
show.
no. It's at a motocross track. They
Oh, okay.
opened it up for everybody. Like I don't know, like maybe 1 week before the event, they opened up the
Got it.
track. They've got so this is where Dallin and Jungle Rush where they train all the time.
That's why I was
They
thinking it was a
opened
different show at first or something.
no, no, no. It was just like a training for the week before. Everyone headed out there and just got used to the ramps. And then when they came to Montecasino, they didn't feel too out of
Right.
depth. So yeah, so Matty Van Galen in seventh. In sixth is Stav Orland, the guy from Uganda. Dalton Venter, again, like this dude, that's the guy I said before. He only jumped a ramp for the first time
Yeah.
2 days before last year's event. I thought he could have even nearly beaten Julian last year. Like if one of them just flung off the ramp, which they were kind of going in every which way, he could have won. But it's like he fell asleep in the final. And this time again, I don't know, maybe he did too many big whips in the qualies and the heats that he just didn't get there. So he
Yeah.
was in fifth. In fourth was Jesse Wright. And he was actually on the podium last year. He just missed out. He got nudged out by Dallin Goldman. But yeah, man, Jesse, I'll talk about that later on. So, so Jesse got nudged off the podium. Dallin was on there in third. Huge whips. So last year he was in second, chasing down Julian. This year he was in third because this year Edgar Torrenteras came.
Yeah.
And that was those huge whips we saw where he's upside down, both feet off, like
Yeah.
Edgar, the
Edgar
legend.
style. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Some guys, I guess it's just how talented they are. Because some guys, some of us are like,
Yeah.
I'm over that. And then
Yeah.
you got like TP who like rides like a couple times a year and does double flips.
Yeah.
And ET
Doesn't think
who's
about
just,
it.
yeah, still killing it forever.
Yeah. So Edgar's like 43 or 44 years old, something like that. Um, he's killing it. Like
Yeah.
he looks so damn good. And I didn't realize how high the elevation was in Joburg. It's like 5,000 feet.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he was like, he got this Yamaha and put it together, and he's like, "There's no power." He's
Yeah.
like, "I can't whip, I can't get under it," and so they spent some time jetting the thing and got it working as good as possible. And yeah, I mean, he is an X Games gold medalist. It was Barcelona, so it wasn't LA, but it was Barcelona X
Did
Games.
he never
But
win any X Fighters?
I think he would have won an X Fighters or two.
I feel like he had to have.
Yeah, like he would have
Back when he
won one of
was
those.
spitting dirt.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure he will watch this, and I'm sure he will tell me in a message how many he won. So I'm sorry, Edgar, if I've forgotten how many. And of course, the winner, Julian Van Stippen,
Yeah, he's
So-
a difficult one.
back to back King of the Whip.
I mean, yeah, it's weird that Edgar's not in this stuff, but the like best whip stuff now. But current day best whip, which I'm not saying that Edgar couldn't ride it, but for some reason he doesn't. But current day best whip is friggin' ridiculous, and he's
Yeah.
one of the top guys, period, in regular whip contests. So, it's not really that surprising. I think what is good is that those guys from that area are getting to ride with now not only Julian but Edgar, and just see, just being exposed to those guys is
Yeah.
going to make you a better rider. I mean, you could already see just from last year to this year the way that they've stepped it up. And that was just the first time they ever saw it. So somebody down there is going to be like, eventually going to be like, this is my goal, is just to win King of the Whip, and they're going to just work all
Oh.
year and come out and be a monster.
Absolutely. Like, so Dallin Goldman, Jesse Wright, Dalton Venter. That was third, fourth, and fifth. And I think they were probably in that same order last year, but as second, third, fourth. Honestly, they could do it. Like, Dallin, I don't know, maybe it was like he was saving his best for last, but like he was just kind of cruising. And then in the final, like he was almost as upside down as Julian.
Yeah.
He'd never done like those no-footed whip things before. He saw Edgar do it, and so he just went out and did it. I was like, man, like Dallin's a big guy.
Yeah.
Like his feet were so far off the bike. I'm like, he could have just done like the hugest heel clicker ever.
Yeah.
Like the bike was so whipped. Like just heel clicker, man. Like he had it. Like his feet were way out there. Jesse Wright and Dalton, man, if they actually spent time training for best whip, like this is after a season of motocross and not riding ramps.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. How far are they away from the nearest ramps?
Well,
I guess Jungle Rush.
I don't know about Dalton, but I did go to Jesse's place, and he's in Joburg. So
Okay.
he's like 30 minutes down the road from Jungle Rush's compound. So
Yeah.
I'm going to call Jesse out. Pull your finger out, buddy. I mean, we were talking about the motocross scene down there where there's, those guys are making nothing from racing. Like it's next to nothing. So I'm like, man, fuck it. You're a free rider now. Like,
Yeah.
go make videos and go do whip comps.
What happened with a lot of guys in the U.S. That's exactly what happened. Deegan and Metz and those guys weren't making the money that they wanted to, racing. And then this came about. And I mean, myself even included. Not like I'm like one of the best guys. But my point is that I saw the
We've had 20
opportunity.
years in the sport as average guys. Like,
Exactly. But I mean, I saw the opportunity and I'm like, wow, this is way better money than I'm going to make racing. So,
exactly. And like those, yeah, that group at the top, actually, even to get to the top 7, the top 14. So there was 26 guys to even get the top 14. The judges were like, I could see them just they weren't dripping in sweat because it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They were dripping in sweat because they knew they were cutting really good riders. Like
yeah.
that top 7 final could have been. No, honestly, the top 14 could have done that.
Yeah.
It was so impressive. Like the guys really stepped it up, and it's like maybe they haven't crashed on a ramp before that they didn't
Right.
care. Like they were just swinging whips. Like it was huge. So maybe that's the other thing. Maybe they don't know what the limit is and they're just going for it.
That, you'll figure it out. It's just if you want to still press it after you figure it out.
Yeah, like last year. So this is actually one thing that I said to Ryan at the end of the event. I'm like, it almost went too well. So last year there was 4 big crashes, where guys just, man, one I can't remember who it was. If it was Ricky Raff or maybe it was somebody else. He just peeled way off to the left hand side.
Oh, wow.
Didn't touch the. Yeah, I think he might have 50-50. Back
The
wheel
side,
off the
yeah.
landing and the front wheel kind of just on. Dean Wheeler he went like 90 foot or 100 foot.
You'll have
Actually,
that.
I think a couple of guys did. No, sorry. Dean, no, sorry. Dean went about 65 foot. Somebody else, I think, went about 100 foot last year.
It is
Whereas
weird.
this year,
I tell people all the
was like
time, ramps are weird coming from dirt jumps. Like if you've never hit a ramp, it is slightly different. Like whereas you can misjudge it easily just because of the traction and the way that they load you versus, like you're almost never going to ride a dirt ramp that loads you the way a ramp does.
No, exactly. And like, I don't think you could tell in that footage that we just watched, but you could see the difference in how the guys approach the ramp.
Yeah.
What is there? There was, I think there was 10 freestyle riders, and probably half of them still took a pretty long run up. But like Julian, Mark, Edgar, who are used to Europe, where they have like, I don't know, 60 foot sometimes for a run up, they were just coming in super tight and just everything on the ramp, and that's how they do it. Then you watch the races like the Dalton on a 250F,
like
I think
speed.
Spavs on a 250F. They're just like.
So think about if obviously they're talented riders. So think about if they understood to slow down, or shorten your run up so that you really had to gas it on the ramp, because that's how those guys get under them more. So
exactly,
if you're coming in with speed and trying to do it, you're at a huge disadvantage. And once a couple of those dudes figure out and go, this year they'll go, oh shit, they were turning 50 feet tighter than I was. Yeah. And once they try it, especially being racers, they should be fine with shit out of corners,
Hell yeah.
And once they figure that out, dude, it's going to be a very tight race after that one.
70 foot shorter.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like you cannot almost gas it anymore once you're coming in, with that type of roll.
Oh yeah, exactly. Actually, I'm just looking for the name here. Dylan Mostert. So there was a dude there who was on a YZ 325.
What the hell is
the big
that?
girl out.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is...
No, he bought out his YZ 250. So he was running a 325, and he was coming in third gear, and I'm like, oh my God, he's just... He was going to land in my hotel room, like, at the end of the thing. Yeah, it was just, just seeing how races have that really coming in hot and then just shut it all off on the ramp approach. So yeah, there was, man, everybody, like there was 26 guys, I think they said. everybody killed it. The difference from last year to this year was so high. Like you could tell, even if they didn't practice, they put their game face on this year because they just, yeah, everybody wanted it.
I'm sure that even if they are not riding ramps at home, they're probably still finding the biggest jump they can throughout the year and just trying to crank some whips.
Oh, actually, so there was going to be another kid.
Oh, what happened to the
Hussey.
13-year-old kid?
He's in America right now. He's
Oh.
like racing. What is it called?
Mini O's. Well, it's over
Mini
now.
O's. Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
Thanksgiving
he's
week.
over in America. Yeah, exactly. So he was like 1 week too late to get back to South Africa. So he's in America right now because he's actually a really good racer.
Obviously.
Yeah. So he wasn't there this year, but there was another kid. So this year there was Trent Balsecki, who was 13 on the KTM 85. So last year they gave him like his own little, little segment.
Mm-hmm.
At 12 years old, he came out. I think he jumped it on his 65, but he just jumped straight.
Full gap?
75.
Holy
Full
shit,
gap,
dude.
75 foot. This year, he was in the competition and he made it to the top 14.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah, I
he
saw
came
some
in
of his whips. Pretty good.
They was sick. And I think it was an interview I did with him during the show. And I was like, oh, hey, Trent, tell us about it. Like, you're on a KTM 85. How fast are you hitting this ramp? And he's like, oh, yeah, like I come in like third or he said, I come in with everything, clicking gears like fourth, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hang on. You said like fourth? Does that mean sometimes you're in third or fourth or fifth? And he's like, yeah, sometimes I just get the gear. Sometimes I miss the gear. And he's like, sometimes he's hitting a third, sometimes he's in fourth.
Oh my God. Third's got to be just completely fucking wrapped.
And he's clicking these gears like 10, 20 feet before the ramp. So sometimes he hits it, sometimes he doesn't, and he's still smashing. Like, it's ridiculous.
Dude.
So that's the 13-year-old, and apparently there was going to be like an 11 or 12-year-old kid, maybe younger. His name's Cussy. I can't remember his second name.
But Child Protective Services showed up, and we're like, we don't think so.
Nope. Exactly what you said before. He was looking for the biggest jumps on the motocross track during the season.
Wadded up.
And, yeah. Apparently it wasn't even on his own bike. He was on somebody else's bike. Maybe he stepped up to like 125 or something. I don't know. So he sent it and went like 110 feet to flat.
Yikes.
Broke his collarbone. So
that's shit. 110 feet to flat, broken collarbone sounds like he got out of that one.
He got out of it. Yeah, I haven't seen the footage.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the footage. This is just what I heard, and I'm like, he got out of that pretty good.
Yeah. You're not what I was expecting. Ankle, leg, knee, wrist, collarbone. So he landed okay and then like fell over or something onto his side. Probably.
I don't know. Maybe he just ate the handlebars or something, and I have no idea. But man, they breed them tough down there in South Africa. Like,
that's good. Somebody's got to now. We're lacking.
Yeah, you guys are just. I saw something from Rhino on the Gypsy Tales podcast where he's like, there's too much protective equipment. He's like, people, all the kids and everybody's afraid to ride their dirt bike. Like, you come into motocross, you're gonna crash.
Yeah.
Everybody's too scared of protective equipment. So maybe Rhino's right.
I don't like. I agree and disagree, and I disagree with especially little kids falling. Because I've watched some kids just get fucking wadded up. But at the same time, the other point that he always brings up is that if you have all this protective gear, a lot of times it hinders you from riding in the fashion that you would ride if you didn't have it. And I know that I got rid of my neck brace before he even started saying any of this shit because I couldn't... like some tricks I had a hard time kind of looking up for, looking down for or whatever. So I was like, I'm just going to get rid of it. And just, if I go face first, I got to tuck.
Yeah, exactly. Tuck and roll. I was the same. I think Shuey gave me his neck brace one day, and I tried it, and I just went to go do like a double heart and like look back,
Yeah.
and it just felt horrible. And then tried to do a ruler, and I couldn't do that. And I'm like,
And
"Oh."
even I bet double grabs, just your shoulders against the.
That's what it was. It was
Yeah.
my shoulders pushed the neck brace up
Yeah.
into the helmet, and then I couldn't do anything.
Yep.
So then I almost had a crash because I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, no, I don't want it. But I went from not having knee braces to having knee braces. I didn't like it. It felt restrictive to a point, but I'm glad I had knee braces.
I wore knee braces when I raced for like a year or two, and then one day I was just like, I'm not gonna put them on. I'm gonna put these old EVSs back on, and I was like immediately way more comfortable just trying to control the bike.
Yeah,
I felt like I had
exactly,
more
like-
feeling, because otherwise you can't really feel if you're against the bike and stuff, and wasn't really into it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I remember I think it was even Clinton that kind of opened my eyes a little bit, even with boots. And Clinton was like, I don't like Tech 10s because
Yeah.
I can't feel the bike when I'm trying to do vaults and bundies and all the other body varials he was doing. So I think he went back to like Tech 7s.
That's what I always
Just
ran.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. My whole career, basically.
Really?
Do you remember before this, Alpine Star made Vectors, which was basically the first boot with the different rubber, the composite rubber bottom, and it had three buckles. Me and Berlou used to run them back in the day when we first started freestyle. But up until that point, I always ran Tech 8s. And then once I started freestyle, we started running the Vectors, and then I went to Tech 7s once they came out, which I've never even had a Tech 10 on. But it seems like way overkill.
Man, they're heavy. Heavy boots.
Yeah.
I bought a pair of Tech 10s before I went to my first ever international show. It was over in China. I'm like, I better get out of these O'Neill elements.
Your bag was overweight.
Exactly. Yeah, they were heavy as hell. And then I got into Fox boots straight
Did
after
you
that.
ride them before you went there? Please tell me.
Yeah, for like 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 week I rode. And then I went over there, and then I got back from China, and within 1 week I was sponsored by Fox. And so I've got
Nice.
a brand new pair of Tech 10s that's like 2 weeks of riding.
Should have just sold them.
Still sitting at home. Yeah, I know. I should have sold them.
Now they're not worth shit again.
No, that was 2010.
Yeah. Here's the very first Tech 10s ever made.
I know. Brand new in the box, pretty much. Yeah. Idiot.
And even
man.
8s were hard to break in. I can imagine 10s, but 7s you could ride for like 20 minutes and you're like, I'm all right.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to go. So yeah, man, that was King of the Whip. It was awesome. It was better than last year. Of course, the level of riding was so much better. They had the international guys. I knew there was so many more internationals wanted to come down. So Squibby was about to come down with
Nice.
Boonrod. I know Andreu Laconda guy was interested to come, like the mountain bike.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Does he ride FMX or ride dirt bikes?
Man, yeah.
He's a ripper.
So
You got to figure, before you even say anything, you got to figure if somebody, and I always say this about BMX guys and mountain bikes, probably closer to a dirt bike. But if you can ride that stuff with spinning pedals and handlebars rotating and having to pump and pedal, you can jump on a dirt bike.
Hell yeah, exactly. And man, because I think he's won Red Bull Rampage like once or twice. Like that's the gnarliest thing out there. And then when I was down in Barcelona, when I did those monster shows, when I was what was it, MotoGP. So Andreu lives like, I don't know, 10 minutes from the track. So we went to his place, and he's got like a pretty gnarly compound. Like there were some big ramps there. Axel turned up. I think we spoke about this. Like Axel was there, and Remy was there. Adolf, I don't know, Julian. I don't know. Everybody was kind of there to go riding. And it was the first time I saw Andreu Leconte guy jumping freestyle.
Yeah.
That dude is good.
Yeah.
Like, he just rolled in. I mean, it's his home compound, but there was this super kicker that didn't look very fun to jump at all. Just shot him to the moon, straight into that, straight into the next ramp, then off the regular, then the 120 ramp. Didn't even, like, there was no warm ups.
You got to
And
think, though,
big
for a
whips.
guy that does Red Bull Rampage, he's got to be very mentally tough, like
Yeah.
strong.
Exactly.
Because that shit,
So,
like you said, is the gnarliest friggin' contest out there, I would say. Like, what is gnarlier than those dudes jumping down those cliffs and stuff?
yeah, no gas when you like
Yeah,
when you realize you're coming
nosedive.
up short. You're like you're up shit creek,
Yeah,
and there is no paddle. Like,
yeah. And they got, like, cliffs to the side of them, and they're jumping gaps, and, that's got to
exactly.
be. And, again, you're not on a dirt bike, so you don't have motor. You also don't have as much suspension. Sure, they have good suspension,
Like,
but it's still not friggin' dirt
it's
bike
not the same.
suspension.
No, exactly. It's not even close to the same.
And like we were talking about, I find that suspension, sure, but your throttle, even on landing, going long or short, like you
Yeah,
can really save yourself a lot with the throttle, which
yeah,
you're not getting away with.
yeah. No, there's no power out.
Yeah.
It's just suck it up and get smashed.
Better be
Like,
close to perfect.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, like there was a lot of international guys who wanted to come down for this one this year.
And I'm sure it's
I
only going to get
imagine,
bigger. Yeah.
yeah. So this was the second year at Montecasino. I can only assume it'll be back on again next year. I hope I am also invited to come back. It is awesome. And I hope you're also invited to come as
That'll
well,
be
man.
awesome.
And more riders. Like,
You said
so
that the
yeah,
place was full. What do you think? How many people do you think were there? Like how many?
it was like 6,000 people,
Six? Okay,
6,300, something like that.
cool.
But unfortunately, the ticket price is not huge. And the South African rand, the currency, is not overly great. So
Mm.
the basically you're coming for a damn good holiday,
Yeah.
and for an awesome event. Like, honestly, it looks really good. It's one of the best shows I've seen. I like how unique it is. I like that everybody can kind of get into it, and like the crowd understands straight away. So
It is
it's
simple enough where you can, like where a freestyle run, there's a lot of technical stuff that people aren't going to get. It's the same way why
yeah,
like quarter pipe works or step up
exactly.
worked because it's like pretty clear to anybody like that guy went higher or you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
guy turned upside down. You don't have to be
Yeah,
a
like
freestyle
it.
motocross professor to figure out what the hell's going on.
That's it. But you still have three judges who are crapping their pants because one guy's gonna like them and 25 are not.
Yeah, they need
Um,
to have text like when Twitch kept winning best whip.
oh, mate, they couldn't possibly do that in South Africa. The mobile phone system's down all the time because they're on load shedding. They run out of power like for 2 hours, 4 hours at a time. Like,
Really?
yeah, yeah, man, it's gnarly down there. Like, where we were staying, so I was staying in the casino for the whole 2 weeks. Whenever the power goes off, the generators fire straight up. So it's like 1 second that
Yeah,
the power's off. Because imagine a casino where
right.
you're betting and poof, you've lost everything.
But so basically
Or
that,
you're about to win it and then you didn't get the money.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Um, so that happens all the time everywhere, and obviously just the places
Yep.
that have the money to do it, like a casino, have the automatic switch generator.
Yep. Yep. That's basically. So I think like for that whole event there, like everything was just running on generators, on petrol generators for the lights and everything. But if you were going to do like the text in thing, then you've got to hope that the mobile
Right.
tower hasn't gone out. So yeah, it's a bit gnarly down there.
Dude, this is where everybody should go from here that wants to flee America because it sucks. We should just
Yeah.
go.
No, but you know what? I will say though, she's like the Wild West down there. Like, yeah, it's
Most places are. Listen, we claim freedom, but we're way too safe to have freedom. And I learned
Yeah.
that in Colombia. You know, it's
Yeah.
like somebody even said to me down there, he goes, "You guys say you're free." He's like, "We're free here," or whatever. And I'm like, bro, believe me,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like if you've seen where a taxi will drive, like I just saw the other day, like there are no rules. Like
Yeah.
taxis go where that, like middle of this, you got the motorway and there's like a little bit of green strip.
Yep,
They're
your
pinning it up
median.
there, like it's like a whip section, and you've got like a Toyota Hiace taxi, like I don't know, 11-person taxi just
Dude, that was
pinning it.
China. I was amazed because China you would think is very strict, right? With some
Yeah,
things. And then
with
other
some
shit they're
things.
like do not care at all. We were
No, go for
throwing
you.
the street bike guys bought all these, so it's not a lie. There are fireworks stands everywhere. So every time we would stop, the street bike guys would buy all these fireworks, like big, like quarter,
Yeah,
like M80s, quarter stick of dynamite, and like
yeah.
we're driving in a tunnel, and the guy lights it and throws it out of our truck. Like this is like half a mile long tunnel through a friggin' mountain, and it's traffic. They're working in the tunnel. He tosses a friggin' bomb at it, blows up. Nobody even says, nobody looked for anything.
Oh yeah, that's just a regular Tuesday afternoon. I don't know.
I was like, nobody's gonna search for us? No? Okay, dude.
Yeah, Chinese sky candy.
Bro.
Yeah, I don't know. No, man. Honestly, South Africa is awesome. I love it. I can't wait to go back. And it is snowing here.
It's snowing here.
And is it snow there as well?
Yeah. Yep.
There
Oh,
we go.
shit. We actually got, it's almost covered out there.
Yeah, it's covered here. Since I got home. Like I got home 4 days ago, 5 days ago, and it's we're definitely into the negatives, and it sucks. So next year, I think I'm gonna stay in South Africa for like
There
2
you go.
months.
You got to get your wife some kind of gig so you guys can just holiday.
She's working in Germany. I'm fine. I'm on holidays, man.
There you go. You're on your own holiday.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm gonna go down
Dude
there, see the
holiday.
boys.
You're gonna live in a lean-to with some aboriginals and fend off lions.
Man, actually, I was talking about because I said to I think it was Dom and his girlfriend, like the Dom, like he was basically I don't know my chauffeur the whole 2 weeks. Like he was everywhere, just running the show with Ryan, but just making sure everything worked. I was like, man, if we go to Kruger, like, do you guys, I don't know, do you have a swag? And he's like, what's a swag? I'm like, oh, that's what we sleep in Australia in the bush. Like, it's just a mattress rolled up. I can't think of what you'd call the material, what covers. It's like a waterproof material.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can sleep under the stars and snakes can't get in and spiders can't get in. And he's like, yeah, no, if you're gonna do shit like that, like you want to be at least hammocked, like you want to be above so lions aren't jumping up
Yeah.
and trying to eat you. And I'm like, yeah, true. Yeah, no, fuck that. Like, I'm getting a hotel.
It's funny though because we watch shows all the time over here that Australia has more shit that'll kill you than any place else.
Yeah, I know, but
They're not
fuck,
lions.
I could fend off a snake, I think, not a lion. Like,
It's true.
I'm not playing with lions or hippos.
It's true.
Those things, they're not fucking around.
No.
So, yeah, man. We'll see you next year, hey?
Yeah, let's go. I'm in. Need to get out of here this time of year.
Yeah, way too cold for this crap in the northern hemisphere. Let's get down. And I guess we'll probably see a lot more international guys going down. Like honestly, next year will be wild. If some of these boys actually ditch their racing, or at least just fob the racing off to the side of it.
Yeah, for
and
towards
put
the
some
end of the
practice in.
season at least.
Yeah,
if you're out of the
and
points, just concentrate
forget
on
it.
your whiffs, bro.
Yeah, that's it. If you know by like round 5 that you're not going to get there, screw it.
Yeah.
Just go right. Just hit the ramps until King of the Whip next year. Let's see who's going to come from. If Julian, I guess Julian has to come back. He'll be going for the 3-time for the 3-peat. Edgar will be back for sure. Pignol will be back for sure.
Awesome.
Let's see who else is going to come.
Very good. All right, let's wrap it up. Thanks for getting us the footage and giving us a little bit of behind the scenes information on the whole trip. And yeah, it sounds awesome. Hopefully the event just keeps growing. Maybe you can get a bigger venue with more people. That way he can make money on it too.
And they're just going to have to like bulldoze a section of the casino and just make a bigger part for the
Or
whip.
just put on the roof.
Put it on the roof. It's big enough.
So April 20th, well, it's the 19th and 20th, we're going to do Two Wheels to Freedom Fest. I know that some people have been like, we want an amateur contest, which I haven't done in a long time, but I decided that my friend Trevor down there in South Carolina owns a track, and I can't think of the name of the track at the moment, Cedar Creek MX. And so we were talking, he was like, hey, we should do an amateur contest, bring that back. And I was like, there's not really enough people for the amateur, just freestyle. So we are going to have dirt bikes and street bikes. So there will be a 21 and up area with like a bar and stuff, and we'll have biker games back there. The motocross, we'll have a motocross race, pro motos, with just a couple of, like 100% payback pro motos in one day. Then we're also going to have a mini moto, and we're going to have the amateur contest, and I'm going to jump the Harley at the end of the amateur contest. And then we're also working on getting like a band, and there will also be guided Harley rides. Somebody will be there that knows the area, so if you guys want to get up and go on the guided Harley ride, go see some sights, maybe stop at a bar or whatever before you guys come back, that'll be available as well. So trying to make a crossover event, because like I said, I don't think, just freestyle motocrossers are kind of sparse as far as amateur ones in the US, so I know that we're just trying to couple it with, I guess because I'm jumping Harleys now, I'm like, we should have street bikes there. Otherwise, you guys don't care. So, so yeah, April 20th, I'll put the link to the tickets. I have tickets for everything. There's like 2-day tickets, and then there's just tickets if you just want to come in and watch an event, or if you want to sign up for the race, or the FMX, or the mini moto. There's sign up links on there for that as well. So.
Man, I think I'm going to come sign up just for the Harley guided tour.
There you go. Come on. I'll bring a bike
I'm up
down
for
there.
that.
Yeah. I mean,
We're
going to have to schedule that when I don't have something else to do so that I can go cruise around.
Man, I did a show in Germany. I hosted a show with my shitty German
in German?
In German, yeah, man. Whew, it was not good. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
How many people were like, what is he saying?
Was ist das? I don't know what it was. But actually, they had the guided Harley tours there. And so
Awesome.
I went and did that in between shows. And it made the whole weekend. So, man, do it. That sounds cool. It's going to be good for the people. Good to hear you got the racing as well. So, looking forward to it. Maybe I can get over there after night of the Jumps Munich, which is 1 week before.
That would be amazing. And you're obviously more than welcome. We can tag team the mic there as well for the amateur contest, and yeah, make it happen, have some fun, get everybody out again. I'm really excited about that one, just to be around everybody, help some people, pointers on, riding and whatever, and just see people progress. Because, when we did the amateur contest years ago, it was amazing. You're talking about the South American riders there. It was amazing us doing the amateur contest to see the kids start competing with each other, and then each round they would come out with more, and this guy would have more, and then that guy would have more, and it was really cool just watching them. Eventually, the one kid, so it was Alton Brown and Davey Johnson.
Whoa.
He started at our contest series as a novice at like
Whoa. And then he went and
13
vaulted off of a quarter pipe.
and did the decade.
Yeah, the decade
So
of
that
the Moon Buddha.
he started. Him and Alton basically were probably 14 or something, both of them. They started in the novice class, and each round they would come out and just like one up each other until they made it to the amateur class, and then they started doing shows, and then obviously, like you said, Alton rode for us for years. He did shows with us for years, and Davey went and did, X Games Best Trick and Nitro World Trick. Was it X Games or just Nitro both times?
Yeah, X Games. Yeah,
I think it was X Games and then Nitro. So
Nitro World Games.
Yep. So and that just started. That he started at both of those kids were from Texas, and just started coming to our contests, and it was a really amazing time to watch, those guys progress like that. So, hopefully it's a success, and then we can just keep doing them. And then AFMXA is going to come back out of the woodwork, and then they're going to try to hijack the series, and then as soon as I stop, they're just going to quit again too.
There we go. So we've seen the progression already. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. No, that sounds awesome, man. I think with what you're doing there with the like festival feel, that's awesome. Same with like King of the Whip, where it was like one big event, but it's about, they didn't care if you were pro or am, so you can see the progression. That's sick. There has to be more of that all around the world. So good job, man. Can't wait to see it.
Like we were saying, it's great when the younger kids can get in and be exposed to seeing pro guys ride, and riding similar ramps or the same ramps and stuff like that. And it just opens your mind to be like, oh shit, like maybe this is something I can do.
That's it. Yeah, I think a lot of people's minds were blown the other day.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the link in the description, and we will see you soon.
Yeah.